Sydney. Entering the ashram, I was faced by a full-colour, floor-to-ceiling print of Shri Mataji as Sri Ganesha, staring sternly down at me, all in red, with a large red spot upon her forehead. Of course, I didn't know what I was seeing at that time. My wife went into a common dining area, and I was led into the meditation room in the center of the ashram. A couple of ladies came with me and said they were going to work upon me. We sat on the carpet before an altar with another interpretation of Shri Mataji's face. And the ladies sat behind me, telling me they were giving me some vibrations to help me. I was sitting cross-legged with my hands resting on my knees, palms upwards, and looking at Mother. Tears began to well in my eyes, and I wept. They had tissues ready. I felt like I was coming home, that I'd found my home. After a while, they took me back into the dining room, and I sat me down at a table with my wife and son and some other people who were all beaming at me. They started jabbering at me, but I was dumbstruck by joy. I was pure spirit in the kingdom of heaven. Looking at them and wondering why they didn't understand me. They were saying things like, "You'll be all right," which was not the language of the spirit. And I was wondering why they used such antiquated means of communication. Cool vibrations were pouring out of my head, my fontanelle bone, and all over my body. I knew I was eternal awareness, that I was there, perfect and one, fully integrated. But those human voices were jarring to me, dragging me back into the pale shadow of a world that I did not want to go to ever again. I didn't take much else in. I was told I was a seeker and wondered what they were talking about. I was told to come back again, which I could understand. We had a meal with everyone and left. As soon as we got away, I lit a cigarette and talked to my wife. We both decided we would go back and attend more programs. We were developing a new awareness, a new way of understanding things with the vibrations that came with the awakening of the Kundalini. And all our old concepts, good and bad, that we'd gathered began changing, the bad ones drifting away and the good ones manifesting more. I realized vibrations gave me absolute truth. I was told to ask the question, is Mother, for that is what we called her, or Shri Mataji, an incarnation of the Holy Spirit? If the vibrations on my hands were cool, that was yes. If they were hot, it was no. It became very cool, and that is how within a month I knew who she was through my own experience, my own subtle system. No one telling me what to believe, my own system informing me. My new dear wife took our baby son back to Perth to see her mother, and I stayed in Sydney attending programs. And very soon it seemed to me the natural thing to do would be to move into the ashram while my wife was still away. I packed up our apartment. It was a time that the main collective had all gone to India for a tour. And when my wife returned, we were in a peaceful environment, meditating and going down to Bondi Beach early some mornings to swim, and in the daytime listening to Test cricket on the radio. After the Christmas was over and people returned from India, that peaceful, idyllic days came to an end. And it was good to meet everyone. I naturally enjoyed collective living, but slowly problems arose. Firstly, our son, who got into everything and would charge towards mother's altar if we put him down in the meditation room. I was told to build a gate in the backyard to stop him getting into the main house. Then there was the so called leadership of that time that started criticizing me and giving me orders. One time I was still washing dishes after a collective meal at 11 p.m. at night, and I was being berated by one of the hypocrites, and I exploded and chased him out, swearing at him. I did not like injustice. But other times we did collective work like starting public programs on our own, postering and giving realization to others. My inner desire, right from that time, was to do Mother's work when I understood who what she was and what she was attempting to achieve in this world. Awakening the light in others, healing. And very soon, though, it became clear to me that I had other problems to deal with. The vibrations that had given me such a profound experience and lifted me so high into the kingdom of the spirit began slowing down and showing me that I was a very damaged soul and had a lot of work to do on myself. This was such a surprise and a shock to me because my initial experience made me believe I was already there. The hard lesson was that was to show me what could be achieved, but first the karmas had to be stripped away and atonement had to be gone through. Yogis in the ashram told me stories of meeting Shri Mataji and how wonderful it was, which I found a little strange as my perception at that time was she is everywhere, so why to worry about meeting her in the body? Of course, that perception changed later. I felt Sri Mataji was guiding my life, however difficult, but my vibrations were going down, and that old depression crept over me. I went out walking in the local area one day, only to bump into my wife, strolling with the baby boy. We both of us felt lost, disconnected, and unhappy. Things were not all right. It was soon after that I was called to see one of the coordinators or leaders and was told that it would be a good idea if we went back to London. And for me, when things are difficult, moving on is always a good option. And I've done that many times. You might call it running away, but it's also running towards something else that you're going to have to face. So I agreed. We sold everything we had, which wasn't much, just a car, packed up our bags, and were soon on a 747 heading back, as I was to learn, to the heart